a few people still trickling in. So I'll get started here. So I'm going to talk to you about a few things, some of the projects that were done with open data. So my name is Arteaga. I'm owner of WardRep Development. And we work with open data trying to create some of these mashups, and then we also do mobile applications in the mobile space. So this first one here is WardRep. Now Nick did talk about WardRep a little bit, what it does. And basically, you're allowed to go in there and you can put in your address and you're going to see what ward that address is in. So for example, here I'm just going to get a drop down. I'm going to go in, hopefully the connection is working. And going slowly. So essentially what this is going to do, it's going to go out, grab some data, and it's going to show you what ward it's currently in, that address, and who the reps are in there. So here you see there's a little pushman. It's got some what are they called? Layouts of the ward area and different colors. So all the data is coming back from a service, and I'll describe that service. Now what we've also done with that same data is created a mobile client. So from your mobile phone, you can hit your current location, and it'll plot you where you are and which wards you're currently in, and show you the exact same data in terms of the ward, the reps and pictures and all that stuff. So one of the key things is the data. So the data that we originally got, so we have London, Hamilton, Guelph, and Milton. So originally we did it at a hackathon over a weekend, and then we got in Milton data, and then we got in Hamilton data at a different hackathon. But all the data came in as either PDFs or text files. So one of the key challenges is normalizing all that data into one space so anybody can get access to either other developers, other businesses who want to overlay this data over something, who knows what they want to do. I was talking to the gentleman over there about WardRep.ca. He could probably grab this data and use it in his application. So again, it's normalizing that data and exposing it to different platforms, web clients, mobile clients, other desktop applications, anything like that. Another example is emitter. So here is emitter.ca, and it basically shows you the factories that are around and what their pollution levels are. So there you see a couple of them. There's Good Packaging, their pollution, their ranking is 82%. This one over here, Nalco Canada. So it's pretty good. It's only 1.5%. So you can type in any address, emitter.ca, and then it'll give you all this information. This data we took from Environment Canada data. And again, normalize the data so anybody can get access to it through a standard API. And then there's another one here. Vancouver Open Data. So this is Vanguard, and basically what this gives you is community centers, drinking fountains. So all these things available within the Vancouver area. It even gives you parking locations, transit stops. So again, it just plots it on a map, this one here. But what you could do is you can take this data and more on a commercial side. So I found this website as a real estate investor. I want to see, what real estate is within walking distance of certain areas. So that data, what I'm assuming they did, I don't actually know this company, but what I'm assuming they did is they got open data like this, and then they correlated, they did some algorithm and figured out a walking score. So if the place is within walking distance of, say, parks or transit or schools, you get a better score. If you have to drive, then your score is actually worse. So that's just one example of commercialization of the data that's out there. Now, in the end, all this data comes from here. So a lot of it comes from this Open Government Data Initiative, or OGDI. And here you'll notice we have city wards, Hamilton data. So all this data that's in there, and essentially developers could go in here and just click on this. Through standard APIs, they will get all this information in terms of the ward, the layout, who represents that ward. So the standard API is XML-based, JSON. If you want to get some KML data, you could get KML data. I believe it might support GeoRSS too. So all this data is taking it from, say, PDFs or text files or anything like that, normalizing it into one standard so basically anybody could get access to it. I think that should be the whole goal of open data, is PDFs are not open data to me as a developer from a technical point of view, because I still have to go in and scrape all that data off and normalize it somehow. I think governments have to open it up in a way that it's easily accessible to other developers or other businesses, so they can just take that data and integrate it into whatever they want to integrate it to. And this is one example of how we could possibly do that. And I think that's it. That's all I have. I have no slides, unfortunately, but I do have questions. If you have questions, let me know.
If you're a developer, how are you going to access the data?
So if you're a developer here, a couple ways you can access. So there's KML feeds. So you can just you go to a URL. I'm not quite sure. So here you can do a query.
Scroll over to the right.
Yeah. So you can download the data as CSV, Excel. Not sure what Daisy is. Never used that one. But there's also XML atom feeds. So there's all the data in a standard XML feed. Here's your KML coordinates. So that's the actual ward data, so the boundaries of the ward. So you could grab that data, and instead of getting it from, I can't remember how we got it, but we got it from text files or something. So we had to write an importer so we could import it into here, and then make it easier for web applications or mobile applications. So the two applications there access the same data. So there's standard interfaces that are available.
And all the data are coded.
Pardon?
The data is hard coded.
The data is not hard-coded. It's these URLs that are hard-coded right here. So every application points to that URL. And then this data, I mean, if it goes in, if we run another importer and update this data, it'll update. So and then all the applications will get the update. And we went through that exercise. We added Hamilton data, and then the mobile application and the web application automatically picked up all that data. So now if you search for a Hamilton address, it'll find it. And it'll tell you what ward, who your rep is, and all that stuff. And the same thing on here, on the phone. Yep.
How do you manage updates if, say, ward boundaries should change, or if a counselor should leave and get replaced?
So right now it's a manual process. So that's a challenge right now. So all the data is coming from some government or city official. We still have to use our importer. Hopefully they give it to us in the same format. And then we use our custom importer that we built so we can put it into here. So it's all a manual process right now.
How would you like the city to employ, say, ward information as an example? What's the optimal way for you as a developer for us to employ that?
I think something like this OGDI, Open Government. If you want to use this, if there's other sort of frameworks that are available, make that, use it, leverage it, just so the data that you open up is easily accessible. So I can just go write my code and say, point to this URL, parse the data, and we're good to go. Whereas right now, if we have a text file, I think I've taken a look at the Mississauga in Toronto, but a lot of them are text files or XML. So you have to go to the website, you have to download the files, and then you have to use it in your application, probably put it in a database or something. So if you could eliminate that whole step and just automatically put it in some framework like OGDI, or just expose it in a friendlier way. Because PDFs, I don't consider that open data. Text files are great as long as we know the format, and XML and all that. But we still have to bring it in, and you still have to do a little bit of extra work there. I don't mind it, but I mean, to gain more adoption, I think if you eliminate that step, you may gain more adoption from other businesses or other developers.
If I may on that?
Yep.